Hey everybody, it's Devin Francis, also known as Dr. Blackard.
And after the last episode where we talked about what was coming up today, which is the Clown Hero, the Odyssey episode of the month for March, and April one, which is Sunflower
Search for
Mystery
a
Time.
sunflower.
Uh, I was thinking about the joke I made very heavily. I was contemplating and meditating upon it. The clown hero is what I call myself every time I think Wellington is going to be in an episode, and he's not. And then I also thought the clown hero is a good nickname for Wellington, also, just as a character. And so there were a couple points throughout that episode where I was thinking of Wellington. And then the second episode rolled around, and then there was like a little mystery, and I was just like, man, Detective Wellington would be fun, but that would never happen. And then I started re-listening to the entire Wellington catalog, which is, instead of doing homework, the thing I did today. And on top of that, listening to our reviews of No Cause for Concern, and I'm listening to the Bassett Family Wedding, whatever it's called right now. I'm like over halfway through that one. And I was and then I got to re-listening to the Bassett Wedding episodes,
We know
and I
that you're
realized, oh
we know
yeah,
that you're
Detective Wellington
desperately
is
starving to
actually.
death for content when you've resorted to rewatching our old videos.
I have rewatched those two videos before. The videos of ours I rewatched are the Wellington ones, and the movie reviews are the only ones I've watched multiple times. Um, and yeah, Detective Wellington is actually a thing in the wedding, and I totally forgot about that. Um, Bro, I felt like such a loser on the bus this morning riding to school. The second
It
Wellington
must be a lot
opened
to have
his
shaken you up
trap.
enough to refer to me as bro.
The second Wellington opened his trap and like started talking at the beginning of For the Fun of It, I had the goofiest grin on my face behind my mask on the bus. I was just like, oh, I'm a simp. I'm I'm a Wellington stan. So, yeah, I missed him, and just the sound of his voice made me so happy because it's been so long. So today, I'm just going to be talking about Wellington because I found re-listening to the Wellington catalog a lot more entertaining than these two episodes. Not that I dislike them, I just really like Wellington. Anyway, that's my intro.
So what are we talking about today, Victoria, on this
I already said.
the 209th episode of the Adventures in Odyssey Oddcast?
I already said.
Yes, we're talking about the Clown Hero and Search for a Sunflower, the March and April episodes of 2021 for the AIOC. So, for March, The Clown Hero, episode 912, written by Marshall Younger, Qu'est-ce qui se passe?
So speaking of characters who are regal idiots, we got Keith Ferguson in this episode, making me miss my boy. I'm so bad with directions on camera. Up.
Marluxia.
Close enough. Marluxia. And he's Ted Humphries. Olivia and Zoe are invited to this party, which is probably gonna get really like wild and stuff. So Ava says they shouldn't go. And then they're told that it is going to be chaperoned after all when they think it's not going to be. So then
I guess we don't know if that was actually a lie or not after all. I assumed.
Yeah, we never found out.
I assumed it was a lie.
Most likely a lie, just to get them to go to the party.
And it ended up being irrelevant.
I also wasn't sure for the first little bit if it was actually a costume party or not, or if it was going to be like they pull Legally Blonde and invite like the kids they don't like and say it's a costume party.
Well, that's what I was expecting when Valerie showed up to the costume store, but then she was like, "I'm being a clown." I was like, "Okay, it is that." Unless they also were pranking Valerie.
Valorie's like, "I'm a clown," and I was like, "Yes, you are, Valerie. I'm so."
What if Valerie was also
self-aware.
being pranked though?
That would. Oh. I like. Okay. I
Talk
know
about what happened
I
in the episode
have
first.
fine. No, real quick. I know I tend to like a lot of bully characters, but I usually only like them if they're actually like redeeming characters, like they actually have nice aspects to them.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time Valerie ever got to be nice was in the episode in her brain, and that never paid off. But even still,
Or did
just
it?
like being purely mean to Valerie makes me upset because I feel bad about it. Yeah, it's left ambiguous about the ending, but it's most likely Valerie who left the CD.
Yeah.
So, Olivia dresses like a clown anyway, but like a happy clown, so different than Valerie's angry, sad clown. I loved Valerie's line where Olivia was just like, people are scared of clowns, they make them upset, and Valerie was like, good, that makes me want to be a clown even more. And I was like, girl, you know what you want, I respect that.
Which was one-upped so well by Olivia being like, well, I'll be a friendly clown, no one will get us mixed up, and I was like, dang, girl, nice one. Fantastic
it was
comeback.
So good. And Zoe is dressed up as a donkey. She didn't want to dress up as a princess, and I was like, I would have gladly chosen princess over clown or donkey, but I guess that's just
Teach their own.
me. And on the way to the party, which they don't tell Ava they're going to, because she probably would not want them to be there, they see a homeless person on the street, and Olivia gives him her old jacket because she has like a new one, so she doesn't really need this jacket even though she likes it. And he's just like, you would give a poor old man, and I was like, what is with the acting in this scene? And then he's like, surprise, it's me, Ted Humphrey. And I was just like, Keith Ferguson. And he was doing like a gotcha, like,
no, he was
show,
doing a what would you do,
but like for nice people.
Yeah, from the show What Would You Do.
Yeah. So he was trying to see like how people would react to a homeless person on the street and whether they would be nice or mean or whatever. And then he's just like, oh, a hero who looks like a clown. Who are you? And Olivia's like, my mom is going to see me on TV. She's going to be real mad that I snuck out and I'm planning to go to the party that I'm not supposed to go to.
Ava would know, they were just going on an evening stroll as a clown and a donkey, not to a costume party.
Yeah. I mean, okay, but to be fair, I don't think Olivia would do this, but if it was like you and me and people just saw us walking out the street like fully in costume, they'd be like, yeah, this is a normal day. And so Olivia kind of flips and she bails before Ted Humphries can find out what her name is. And then Ted Humphries kind of goes a little bit like obsessive over like finding out who she is, and he's just like, the Cinderella of Odyssey, we need to try on the coat, and there on the coat is a single hair, and we've learned so much about it. And I was like, surely no police officers would let you do a DNA test. He's like, we were not permitted to do a DNA test by the police because they are oppressive or whatever. And he's like, but we can learn much about this hair, like it's from a person. They didn't even go with what color the hair is. They never even mentioned hair color. No, he didn't. He
not, I guess
no, I kept on like sitting there and I was like, are you gonna say it's like brown or black? And he was like, it's from a human or a dog with long hair. And they never even said the color. And I think like Valerie might have a different hair color than Olivia.
Actually, yeah, now that you're bringing up, very interesting point, and we'll get to that.
That was the thing I thought of for like why they might not want to have like Ted, I keep on almost saying Keith, figure out like what the hair color is. Plus, I don't know, like if you have highlights or something like that, it might not matter. Like,
we'll get to that because I didn't know about the art.
And oh yeah, she had like a pink wig on.
She had a clown wig on.
Yeah, but you would have like hair just generally on your clothes?
Yes, but I'll talk about it.
Okay. Okay, you seem to have a lot of opinions on this. And there's like the invitation to the party in her coat. So Ted is like, if anyone can say like what the invitation to the party or like what's in the pocket. So it basically becomes The Hobbit.
If
He's
anyone
like,
can tell me
"Figure
that
out,
she has
like-"
an invitation to the party in her pocket.
he would. He would without realizing it. He's like, tell me what is in my pocket? Like, I'm Bilbo Baggins, and then you will be the clown hero. And then Valerie says that she is the clown hero because she was also dressed as a clown. She saw Olivia that night, so she was able to figure out it was the party invitation. She gets, like, the news spotlight on her, but then when asked to try on the coat, she's just like, ew, it's gross, and then bails. And then Olivia almost says that it's her and goes to like the TV station and stuff and talks to Ava about it, but then she never like reveals that she is the clown hero. And then all these people start like calling in and they're like, hey, all these people did good deeds. And me sitting there on the bus, I started to feel this like excitement where I was just like, oh my gosh, this would be a perfect opportunity to bring back after the second hiatus the Israelites. I don't know if you thought of this too.
I mean, it's exactly what it sounded like when they were having all the people.
And I was just like, they're gonna bring back the Israelites. I don't know how, because like Whit might have to know that like Olivia did this, or he might just like happen to recruit Olivia. And I got like so excited, and I was thinking like, well, we probably don't have enough time to like talk about the Israelites because the episode's ending, and it's also a club episode, so this is probably never going to get mentioned again. But like, it was right there. The Israelites were right there,
you know,
like
I've never really
dangling
thought about it
in
before,
front of me, and I wanted it so
but
bad.
it's like a really weird name for like a club for people like that.
Yeah.
Because it's just like a nationality. It would be like, what if they had a club of people doing secret good deeds in Odyssey, but they were called like the Japanese,
the Mormons. Oh yeah.
And the kid's like, oh, you know, I'm Japanese, and people would be like, no, you're not. They're like, no, that's the name of our secret group of people who do good deeds. And be like,
what are you talking
about? That doesn't make
about?
any sense.
You know, that's an actual nationality, right?
But you're not. Yeah. Yeah, I never really thought about that until right now.
Yeah, I was also thinking about that on the bus. I was like, the Israelites, and then I kind of paused and I was like, why are they called the Israelites? I get why they are. And they explained it. But
it's
at the
weird.
same time, why are they called that?
If you were like, oh, it's you know, it's like the Germans or like the Brazilians. It's like, okay, that's
the Canadians are here, always doing nice deeds. Oh, those Canadians! Like the Canadians and the Bones of Wrath were having a gang war on the news, and you're like, the entire nationality. You're just completely out of the loop. It's like the Israelites trashed this house, and you're like, every single Israelite in the world.
The IDF
would send. I don't understand.
Anyway, so the episode. Diane Gilbert, is that her name? I think. I think that was her last name. Anyways, from these descriptions of her parties, they sound extravagantly fancy. But from all of these things, the thing that sounded like the most upscale for a kid's birthday party is the fact that the invites have a +1 on them. I was like, that's a weird concept. Big get.
I mean, there are like kids. I know there are like parties that certain kids, I guess, threw when I was in elementary school, where like if you didn't specify not to bring anyone else, they might try and bring their friend. Yeah.
The biggest get, of course, of the party is the fact that they have Goldie P, who is obviously supposed to be Cardi B, which is...
Oh, okay. I was trying to figure out who she was, and I was like, I know who it is deep down, and when Devin tells me, I'm gonna feel like a fool.
We don't get a lot of celebrity joke ripoff names these days, although I feel like it's kind of because we had the one outlier, which was for Trying Out Loud, where they had the entire cheerleading squad of Odyssey Middle School, which was all famous, like, actors' gender bent names.
I barely remember that. Did you think during this episode when, I keep on almost saying Keith Ferguson, when Ted Humphries was just going feral and like frothing at the mouth about the clown hero, I was just kind of sitting there and I was thinking of like Rusty and Crime Brian Dern. Just like nothing happens in Odyssey. They freak out about like the smallest thing.
I mean, yeah, when you said earlier, like, he's going wild over it, I was like, I mean, yeah, it's like, it's a big news story for Odyssey, so...
It's not even a big news story for Odyssey. He was just going ballistic.
I mean, Victoria, not something's happening every day in Odyssey, okay? There are days when that's the biggest thing going on. And there's a big human interest angle. So, the party is big. There's going to be a new single exclusively being dropped by Cardi B there, which is a hilarious idea that the artist is going to be like,
which
I'm dropping
honestly,
a single, which is exclusive.
I thought about that, and it probably would have been a song like that she spent like 2 minutes making.
Exclusive to this kid's birthday party in Odyssey.
And when the album got dropped off for Olivia at the end, I was just like, but this person would have lost the song, and I was like, oh, you can just burn it.
As soon as you
laptop.
said it earlier, I was like, I guess you're not really giving up anything when it's just a song on a CD.
The only thing you're giving up is the signature on the album.
That I forgot. Well, it's not an album. There's only one song, right? Or was it an album
no,
that
it was like an album with a new song.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot that they were signed.
Giving up a signed album by like a celebrity.
I did forget that they were signed, so that is still a big deal then.
Yeah.
So, they talk about another kid, Megan, and they're like, that's what she heard. And I'm like, you can't trust her. Last year, she thought she saw the Queen at Pete's Gas and Chow. And I was like, to be fair to Megan, it is entirely possible that the Queen was at Pete's Gas and Chow, knowing the type of people that come into town to visit Wit. So, Olivia shows up at the costume store, and I was like, oh, Valerie, it has been so long. They have their little...
How long has it been since we've seen Valerie? Because I feel like it's both been a long time and not that long.
I want to say she showed up once since her episode, which was 2 years ago. Take Every
Wasn't
Thought
she in
Captive.
like 2 episodes with Bridget?
Yeah,
like, I want to say she was in at least like
them.
1 or 2 episodes that Bridget was in since her like Mind episode. Because I remember there was like the one where she was like at the burger place, and I want to say there was like
and the one, yes, there was Playing Favorites.
Yeah.
And For a Song, where she was fighting musically with Jules.
Right. I'm so good. I forgot about For a Song completely.
Yes. So they're fighting back and forth. They leave. The girls have decided we're going to the party. Like you said, they decide not to tell Ava, and I like how Olivia's like, oh no, it's fine, because my mom was going to let me go if not for the parent thing, and now the parent thing's solved. So it's fine, Zoe, like, we're all good, and tells her that. And then she was like, you said you, as soon as she was like, we have to go back, my mom's going to find out. She's like, but you said she'd be fine. She's like, obviously I was lying. Obviously I knew she wouldn't be okay with it, otherwise I would have asked her. We both knew exactly what I was doing. I was like, the 100% kid behavior there, yeah.
So, like, the episode number of this, is it before or after the current stuff with Olivia?
This is B4.
Oh, okay. I wasn't completely sure. Because I was thinking, like, it's surely not during the stuff because of everything with Zoe, because she's getting along with Zoe. But, yeah, I guess it makes sense that it would be before, because this probably came out before that album did.
Yeah.
When does the new album come out? Does it come out this month?
I believe that they start airing on the AIOC in a couple weeks, beginning of December. Starting with the 2 that already came out, like, already.
Yeah, but
That's the
I have
bonus
to
things.
wait though. I can't.
I did check
listen
before
to
we
those
started. We
yet.
still only have those 3 album titles, so we can't do predictions yet. Okay, so they go on the street, and they see this homeless guy, and she decides to give him the coat. And as he's talking, like you said, he's like wording things like he's like an important NPC in a video game.
I just remembered. No, I'm not showing the name. No product placement. This was given to me when I was walking off campus.
This unbranded cola.
This unbranded 0 sugar mocha mola. There was a person, and they just had like a cart, like it was like a hot dog kind of cart sort of deal.
Yes,
and they were just like handing them out to literally every single person that walked by. So like,
was it like a business, or was it like a school
2
affiliated?
ladies, and I don't really know what the deal was because I was leaving campus and it was just kind of put in my hand. But like, I got free pop, so like that's neat.
Okay.
I don't really drink Mope, but I'll probably drink this anyway. I forgot it was in my backpack this whole time until you said something, and I probably would have just kept it there for God knows how many days. So thank you for reminding me.
So, like I was saying, Ted Humphries goes on this weird old man spiel like he's an NPC giving a quest. And I was like, why does he sound like he's the host of What Would You Do, or whatever that show is called? And then it turns out that is 100% what was going on.
Wait, what episode was What Would You Do in?
No,
it's a Zoe?
It's a TV show. I think that's what it was called. That was exactly this, where like a guy would set up
like a real life TV show?
Yeah.
Oh.
Where they would like set up scenarios in public to see like, would people, if we entrap people into the scenario, will they do the right thing, or will they just like ignore it and walk by? Well, it'll be like,
right.
You're standing in a deli and the guy in front of you in line like drops his wallet and starts to walk away. Do you like stop him, give it back to him, or do you just like pocket it? That kind of thing. It's a hidden camera, but to like be like, look at people doing the right thing, kind of thing.
Alternatively, a David Cage game.
I want to make sure that that's what
far less and far more enjoyable.
What would you do? American television program.
Alternative number 2, Billy on the Street. Name a woman
for $1.
What? Any woman? Any woman!
That's his name, John Quinones.
Anyone? Yes, name a woman.
Because I've heard whenever I hear people make a joke about this show, they always reference like the name of the host, which is John Quinones.
Oh, I've heard of that guy.
Yeah, using hidden cameras, host John Quinones observes and comments on how ordinary people behave when they're confronted with dilemmas that require them to either take action or to walk by and mind their own business. Various scenarios are created that force people to make split-second, often surprising decisions. So, as he started talking, I was like, why does this sound like a reveal on like that kind of thing, where it was like, thank you for doing this right thing because I was trying to prove a point for a television program. And then I literally had that exact thought and wrote it down. And then that is 100% exactly what happened right there.
He's like, thank you. This is actually that one last scene in season 1 of Squid Game where will someone help the man on the side of the road.
Oh.
You just won the Squid Game.
So, Olivia helps the person out, and then she runs away, but she leaves her jacket behind. I was like, it's like the good Cinderella Meriton.
And then
the good Cindermeriton.
The good Cinderella Meriton Hobbit. Because what's in my pocket? That rhymes.
No, whoa. I don't think it's like the Hobbit.
What's in her pocket, Devin?
It's not like the Hobbit.
My ring is over there. Wait, maybe it's over here.
But it turns out that my thought of Cinderella was extremely apt because they decided to literally do that to try and figure out who it was. Like you pointed out, I thought it was hilarious that the news was going so hard to try and investigate who the clown is. I love, like you said, the line about the police refusing ardently to allow them to use the crime lab on this hair.
Really funny.
I really like the...
Devin, what's in my pocket?
Nothing.
That's not true.
Well, now it's nothing.
Oh, you got me. You tricked me.
I did. That's the whole point. I liked how they mentioned the fact that Zoe interned for Ted Humphries in that one episode, Breaking News, and that actually
They
became
also
relevant
gave
again.
us like a timeline. She said it was during the summer.
Valerie told a story about her grandma on the news, which was extremely funny.
It made me laugh so. It was like, everyone hated my grandma. She died alone
In a
only
house
with her
with
cat.
a fish and a cat that
and
both
a fish,
hated her.
And they both hated her. And I was like, okay, I understand the cat, but like, how did you know that the fish hated her?
Oh, that was really funny.
It was so good.
And so Olivia decides in the end, she's like, I guess I don't really have like objectively unselfish motives to reveal that it was me. And then it inspires a wave of do-gooding across the city, and someone leaves a copy of the Cardi B CD, which was given to everyone at the party, on her door. And technically, it's possible it could have been someone who wasn't Valerie, because there were a bunch of people in town inspired to do good deeds, and multiple people would have known that she wasn't there, that they didn't see Olivia there. Granted, I guess apart from Valerie, the girl that they texted and
Like
Diane.
No, you said Megan.
Well, I'm trying to remember, was Megan the same person they texted, or was that a different thing when they were talking about the rumor that Cardi B was going to be there? I think
Megan was the one who said that the parents were going to be at the party.
Okay. So either Megan or Diane, as far as we know, those are the only two people who knew that Olivia was going to be there. So I would say it's possible that one of them felt spurred
I think it
to
was
give it,
Valerie.
but I feel in my heart of hearts that it was Valerie who did it.
So our girl,
it's her character growth, building
good.
off of her time and take every thought captive.
Watch it have no payoff in the future.
It did have payoff
or
right
any
now.
Mention.
This is the payoff.
That's not enough payoff
this is the
for
payoff.
me. There's not even confirmation that she did it.
I'm taking it to the
It's
bank.
not enough payoff. I need more.
In the web documentary, they talked to a local news anchor and discussed, like, how do you choose what stories will be reported on, and how do you present the news without bias? What does it mean to gather information and communicate truth and justice without twisting it for your own means? And as they were showing a bunch of like B-roll footage of her doing the news, and I was like, oh wow, she's like a real proper big time TV news reporter anchor.
Who is the charity then?
There wasn't one.
Okay. I feel like it's just most of the time now there isn't a charity.
I mean, yeah, most of the time there isn't. And if there is, they'll say the name in the episode.
That's true. Yeah.
Trust me, if there is, they make it very clear most of the time in the episode.
Yeah.
The product placement is about as subtle as Wayne's World.
Let me grab my mope.
Yeah. They also talked to the
very careful not to show
former team coordinator for AIOO, who was she was in charge of coordinating recordings and scheduling between the cast and their agents and stuff like that. And now she works at a rescue mission, doing homeless shelter, soup kitchen, providing clothes, stuff like that. So she talked about that. In the episode art, I'll throw the episode art up here right now, and
I'm gonna look it up on the wiki because I
did pull up a link earlier
app,
so I could show it.
You can't really see the pictures.
So I could show it to you, and I don't have the link open anymore.
I'll find it.
Okay. I mean, every single month they always do a process from sketch to final art with some discussion of different changes or reasons that Gary Locke did this or that with the art, and some of the little details you might not notice, stuff like that. They do that for everyone. But for this one, there was a lot I wouldn't have noticed because I never looked too closely at the art. I never noticed that Ted Humphries homeless is in it, or that there's a cameraman hiding behind the tree.
I could see Ted Humphries
I never looked super
at
closely.
The little box on my phone.
Yeah,
I never would have seen the cameraman.
But I really appreciated the explanation of the details that went into the decision about giving Olivia a clown wig because Valerie has a different hair color than her, and so they needed to give her a clown wig so Ted Humphries wouldn't be able to tell that the clown hero's hair didn't match Valerie's. But then you brought up the point about how there was a strand of hair in the jacket, which I forgot about. And they also talked about like changing, like they angled the masks so that like they could be peering over, but Ted Humphries wouldn't be able to see their face, and like designed the donkey mask so like Zoe's holding it up with her hand, but when she takes her hand away, it'll flop down in front of her face because, of course, if Ted saw her face, he would be able to recognize her immediately because she used to intern for him.
Oh, that's true. I never thought about the fact that he would be able to recognize Zoe easily.
Yeah. So they talked about those decision-making things. I was like, oh, that's clever. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's smart. I was wondering if during the episode, like, Zoe was going to get recognized, and that's how they were going to figure out that it was Olivia.
Yeah.
I am going to give this episode points on its unpredictability, because there were, like, I think about 2 or 3 points in the episode where I was just like, okay, I can see where this is going. Like, within the first scene, I was just like, okay, yeah, they're going to go to the party, and then it's going to get out of hand, and then they never go to the party, and then it becomes about this news story, and I was like, okay, Olivia's going to be like, it was me, and then just do all this stuff on the show, or she's gonna just, like, not take the credit, and then, but I was leaning towards her saying, like, it was me, and then later, like, Ava saying, like, well, sometimes don't take the credit, but then she, like, didn't take the credit, and also, like, Valerie just kind of left herself. So, yeah, those things were basically more unpredictable to me, so I liked it.
What I was expecting, like, the plot that I was expecting came clear into focus in my mind as soon as Valerie showed up and was like, I took the last clown costume. Because I was like, oh, okay. The clown hero, they're both going to go to the party, and they're going to be masked up. Everyone's going to be like, there's 2 clowns. And then something is going to happen. Someone's going to drown in a pool or something like that, and Olivia saves them. She does rescue breathing through the clown mask. I don't know. I mean, she should just be doing chest compressions. You shouldn't be
I didn't even realize it was a clown mask at first. Like, I thought it was just, like, full face makeup.
Anyways, the point is, I was expecting something heroic was going to happen at the party, and then everyone was going to believe that Valerie did it because she said that she did, and Olivia wouldn't be able to prove it was her. So I had a relatively similar idea, although I didn't expect them to not ever make it to the party.
Yeah, I liked that they never went to the party.
I liked that happened. I liked that Olivia, like, never even came as close as I was expecting to, like, spoiling, you know, Valerie's story or confronting it, that it just fell apart on its own, and then she decided to, like, leave it be.
I like that she didn't even, like, let anyone know she was there at the TV station. Yeah. Like, she just kind of watched, and then she was just like, well, and then she walked away. And I was like, heck yeah, good for her. So, yeah, I like this episode a lot more than I thought I would, especially in the first scene where I was just like, oh no, it's a house party episode.
I agree, just because based on the title, I didn't have high expectations, but I liked it a lot more than I thought.
Yeah, this title is infinitely amusing to me because it's both very relatable and projectable
just
at the same time.
Not in the way that's relevant to the episodes.
No, just in a way that's personal to me as a clown, as Boo Boo the clown. I'm gonna give this episode a 4 out of 5.
I'll give it a 4.2 out of 5.
And next.
All right, let's talk about Search for a Sunflower. So let's talk about now episode 913, Search for a Sunflower, written by Abigail Geiger. What happens in this one?
So, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was thinking about Wellington so deeply while listening to this episode, I think I might have missed a couple things. So, especially in the first half. So, Penny is starting an art class for the hospital. And she has a bunch of paintings that she's going to, like, auction off or something like that. And the money's going to go towards money for the hospital art program.
Yeah.
For, like, I don't know, I guess getting
funding
supplies or something.
Those do cost money.
And so she's setting everything up in the building with Connie. For some reason, she doesn't bring her paintings. into the building. I don't know. Her car window is broken. The paintings are snatched. Her and Connie try and find the paintings. And they check, like, the garbage bin. It leads them to this war vet who used to paint, and he put them on as well because he found them in the trash.
Outside the pawn shop.
Yeah, outside the pawn shop. And then he's just like, the flowers make me happy. And Penny's like, that's nice. Can I have my paintings back, please? And he was like, yeah, okay. I really like your paintings. She's like, thank you, I'm selling them. And he was like, okay. He doesn't have the money to buy them. I was sad. I was like, just hire him for the art class, which he does at the end of the episode. And then Pullhouse finds this guy who stole the paintings, and he was just like, the trash made by some girl. He didn't have an accent. And then Penny is just like, no one insults me but my brother-in-law. And then she leaves and then gives the paintings to the war vet guy and invites him to be like her help in doing the art class. And then she goes back to the building. And then everyone's just like, surprise, we did something so you can do the art class. I missed that bit. It was deep in thought.
Many thoughts.
I think they did like, they just pooled a bunch of money to give it to Penny.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was something more specific than that. Again, I was thinking very deeply about Wellington.
Understood.
And then I immediately started listening to For the Fun of It, and then Basset Hounds, and then Nothing But the Truth, and then No Cause for Concern, and then our review of No Cause for Concern, and then the Basset Wedding, and then now I'm on the mid review for Basset Wedding that we're doing. Yeah.
So we have Connie, we have Penny, we have Jacques-Henri, who has not showed up in a very long time.
It's been so long. When he started talking, I thought he was Mr. Holstein's brother for a second.
I thought that he was Wilhelm Holstein. As soon as he started talking, I was
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
I was confused about why he was there. To be fair, they're both Fred Tatasciore, and when you come down to it, they're relatively similar accents.
I was thinking, like, why do I think that's
I mean, there were lines in there that, taken in isolation, were virtually indistinguishable, which is weird. Yeah. Not something I thought I would ever say between a French accent and a German accent, but it's also not... It's not the world's best French accent, to be fair. But, yeah, no, I mean, they're both Fred Tatasciore, so, I mean, there's a reason he sounded exactly like Wilhelm Holstein, because he is. And we heard him 2 episodes ago.
Mm-hmm. I was like, he's back. So, and then he was like, ha, 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 and I was like, oh, no, it's not him.
I was like, oh, that makes more sense. Penny looks at the security footage to see who broke into her car. And she was like, that guy on the bike. And Connie's like, that is Eugene. And I was like, Eugene sus? Penny says that she never noticed how suspicious he looked.
Totally missed that bit. With Eugene being mentioned. I wanted him to be in this episode, and he wasn't.
Penny said she never noticed how suspicious he looked before. But you'd think she would have noticed when she went on that huge tear of body language reading right after the green ring came crashing down.
I like to think that literally everyone involved with that scenario has repressed it, especially Wooten and Eugene.
Penny says a fantastic line to Connie where she was like, for someone known for being paranoid, Connie, you're not, like, you know, being very investigative in this or something like that. Which is
Penny really came out shots fired with that line at Connie. Connie, like, didn't even refute it at all.
It's funny because she didn't even shoot back with like a typical like one-liner like who's saying I'm paranoid or something like that kind of setup.
She just kept on talking about the things she was talking about.
She was like, okay, I'll take that one.
She was just like, well, you got me there.
An employee of wit's end, always known for her green sweaters and her outspoken nature.
That's not true.
Pullhouse shows up. Pullhouse, my beloved. But then he goes and commits crime by trying to squeeze information out of a suspect while denying them the right to an attorney.
Yeah.
Bad. Pool House, I like you, but also a cab. The guy who was the art thief, I liked how easily he was like, I know who that person is. And Penny was like, hey, yeah, he came in and I told him all about the valuable paintings and how I was going to be selling these ones. It all fit, the pieces fit together. And we found
The
out,
clues were all there, Mr. Detective.
yeah, Mr. Pool House, I gave you all the clues. And we find out that this guy just got released from Lakeview Prison, which is, of course, where our dear Mr. Bennett Charles was once in prison.
Do you think they're friends? Do you
I
think they
think they're
make like
best friends.
crafts together?
They made
or
crafts,
whatever?
and this guy stole all of them.
Oh no, Charles! I just remembered that Bennett Charles is played by Jess Harnell.
Yes.
I just have this. I forget that he is every now and then I have moments where I remember, and I'm just like, whoa, it's crazy.
Wow.
Whoa.
Um,
Speaking of Jess Harnell, I need to watch the second season of Animaniacs. It's very surprising that I haven't yet.
so they catch the thief and they grill him, and he was like, "Yeah, I stole it because I thought there was gonna be like these nice paintings, and it was just this trash, and like I couldn't get anything for it. So like, what are you gonna do?"
What are you gonna do?
And a lot of the episode is centered around Penny feeling extremely self-conscious about the paintings and kind of like her taking of like the criticism where she was like, oh, my paintings were stolen. She was like, I don't know if they're going to sell or if they're good enough to raise this money. And then Jacques is like, of course they are. Do you not realize if you're being robbed, it's the greatest compliment because they're only the greatest artists. Why else would someone not rob you? You're the greatest painter in the world. And so
I gotta say, like, I love how much of a hype man Jacques Henri is.
Yeah.
Like, literally every single second he sees Penny, and he's just like, you're so amazing.
That's true.
Like, he's great.
Apart from Wooten, he is Penny's biggest fan and supporter.
It's really sweet, honestly. Get you someone who hypes you up like Jacques Henri.
And then
hypes up Penny.
Finds the sunflower painting in the garbage can, and she was like, oh, I couldn't even sell it to the pawn shop, and feels super bad. And then she meets Sam and finds the paintings, and he was like, it was so beautiful. I had to take it, hang up on my wall so it would catch the light. It's like having a garden inside. And then she finds the art thief, and he was like, it's garbage made by a garbage human. And so Penny's just all over the place with, worrying about what other people think about her paintings. And then finally, she decides to go back and give it to Sam, and she's like, you need this. He's not homeless. Did
you see what
I saw what you said? He's not homeless, but he's very poor. He's on pension. Sometimes
he can't always
when
afford to get like his groceries
when the checks
stuff.
come through, exactly. But he's an incredible artist, and like he made a rose bush out of tin cans, like a very creative sculptor and like repurposer.
Honestly, I want to see that
art.
painting because as much as I don't know if they were trying to make it sound like weird or cool.
Which painting?
The tin can like blooming.
That's
on
not
the
a painting.
Or
that's a sculpture.
Okay, sculpture.
If you make something
I
out of
still
tin
think
cans,
it would look really cool.
Well, yeah, of course. You say that like it was meant to sound
like
kitschy.
the way like Connie and Penny were referring to it, I wasn't sure if they were being like, especially Connie, like
I don't think so.
When they thought it was
I don't
cool,
think so.
Or if they were being genuine.
Like, that's legitimately very cool and a very difficult, to sculpt aluminum like that, to sculpt corrugated aluminum like that.
Get so many cuts on your hands.
I don't remember the context of this, but Penny was talking about something with aesthetics, and somehow brought up the fact that puce is the ugliest color. And I was like, I don't always agree with Penny 100% of the time about aesthetics.
I always forget what that looks like.
It's like puke green. She is absolutely right that puce is the worst color. And
I found brown. It's a dark red or purple brown color.
What?
Puce.
Puce?
Puce is a dark red or purple brown color, according to Google.
Oh, I forgot. It's
I think you're thinking of Shrek Green, my guy.
Puce and chartreuse. I always switch around in my head. I think there's like, it's one of those common misconceptions.
Wait a second. I have outfits that are like both these colors.
The point is, puce is one of those colors where like everyone thinks it's something, but it's the other thing. Like, literally, if you Google puce, there's one of the like people also ask, the first thing is puce green or purple? Because so many people think that it is like a gross green and not the actual like kind of wine red purple that it is.
Okay, this like red is basically almost the color of my hat. And this pink is almost the color of my shirt.
I don't mind the puce. Chartreuse is what I was thinking of.
Okay, let me look up chartreuse.
It's a garish yellow-green.
Oh, that's kind of blinding.
Yes.
That's the color. I'm just getting a bunch of alcohol, like pictures of like alcohol bottles. Oh, I think it's a brand name.
Green chartreuse is a type of glass.
There's a picture of a little goblin sculpture.
Anyways, Penny also name drops Mrs. Beecham, her art teacher, who is just a few episodes back in The Perfect Gift.
Which means, because Connie wasn't in that episode, Penny also talked about Miss Beecham to Connie.
Yes, because we heard her say, she explained it when she said it. She was like, Mrs. Beecham was my art teacher, and she gave me...
No, like when because Connie wasn't in that episode.
Yeah, I know.
Before.
But saying,
like in this one, she was just like, I've told you about Mrs. Beecham before, right? And then Connie was like, yeah, you have. Okay. She said, like, you know Mrs. Beecham. And Connie was like, yeah, your art teacher.
I see what you mean. Yeah, so that was another callback. So in the end, everyone, It's a Wonderful Lifestyle, they come together to give Penny the money that she needs for the class so that she can instead give those paintings to Sam, all three of them, so that he can decorate his walls with them. And then also she brings him on to be one of the teachers of the art class because he's incredibly talented. So many yawns tonight. For the web doc, they visit Bishop Castle, which is a castle in Colorado that was just sculpted by one man out of stone and scrap metal and glass as a massive art piece. And it's like an actual castle that's full size.
What's it called?
Bishop Castle. It has like a bunch of like towers on it, and it's like
a game of chess.
At least 3 stories tall, and it has like all this like intricate like metal work of wrought iron and stuff for like external walkways and spiral staircases and like stained glass. And it was made by
This looks dope.
It was made by one man over the course of like 60 years.
That looks really cool.
Out of just like recycled
I'm assuming
materials.
You've seen pictures of it.
Well, it was in the web doc. It
has kind of almost. It has like. This looks like something out of Mist.
And the one guy made this.
Like this picture I'm looking at.
It sounds like the metal and glass he got was basically all recycled, and then he just used like stones and stuff. Yeah.
Looking thing.
It's crazy.
This screenshot looks like when you're traveling to a new book in Mist.
A new age, yeah.
And it does like a little like circle.
The fly around,
yeah. I'm right, aren't I?
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah, it's very cool.
And then the little like domey circle thing at the top would be like you have to like ride the thing up to the thing, and then you have to do a puzzle in there, and then you get like the new book to the new age. And you did this to me.
Yes. They also talk to this kid who's 8, and he makes like an insane amount of crafts and Christmas decorations and stuff, and he donates some to nursing homes and stuff, and he like sells some to fundraise for charities and whatnot. And they talk to a bunch of the crew about different types of artistic endeavors that they do. Some which is like their job, which is artistic. For some of them, it's hobbies and stuff. And they talk about like, how do you handle criticism on that? How do you let that affect you? How do you deal with criticism? Because that's basically what Penny's dealing with this whole episode. So yeah.
I don't really have much to say on this episode. I thought I liked the war vet guy. I thought the scenes with him were pretty sweet.
I liked Sam's character. I liked that we kind of had the dual thing going on of Penny worried about like her self-esteem and insecurity about people's criticisms of her art, but also like focusing on a theme of like, determining how God wants to use like the things that you're offering up. Like, oh, just because you have something that you want to use, it doesn't mean you're going to use it the way that you thought that you should. So there was more than one thing going on, which I always enjoy.
You're gonna make me yawn.
Yeah.
Stop.
I had a hard working day today.
I had a very cold day today. I'm gonna wear leggings tomorrow. The insides of my leggings are fuzzy. Then I won't freeze.
For something that is styled superficially kind of like a mystery, I mean, based on like, the title.
It had mystery music, like
the talking to the person, someone got arrested by Pole House and stuff like that. It was really like, I mean, the actual thief was completely immaterial to the episode. I mean, really the only point he served was to like be mean to Penny, and that's it, I guess. Yeah. So if you eliminate his whole thread, then plot-wise, it's like we need to find the paintings. They find the one in the dumpster, and then the guy in that building tells them exactly where to find the painting. And that's the whole through thread of the mystery, which is, it feels a little too on like the sparse side. And I understand because it's like the focus of the episode wasn't the concept of the mystery itself.
See, that's why I thought I like missed so much,
which is understandable.
When I was zoning in and out, because I was just like, it feels like barely anything's happened, so surely I missed a ton.
I'm fine that the lesson takes prominence over the plot, and like the character interactions take prominence over that. I think they're more important. I think they're better than that. But the plot feels a little too weak to like hold up the structure of the episode. Mm-hmm. So I do like the character interactions and the lesson of it and stuff. I feel like the plot is the weakest part of the episode, and it's the least important in the case of this one. But the episode still does suffer in my mind a little bit for kind of the lack of depth or intrigue or complexity there. Yeah, I wasn't really ever super interested while listening to this episode. I never felt, super, like, it never felt like the stakes were super high, because, I mean, it's like, oh, we need to raise funds, for the art class for the hospital. That's stakes. But the fact that it was, like, 3 paintings that are all, like, simple still life flower paintings that Penny painted herself. I mean, I don't want to devalue Penny's art. She's a very good painter. Yeah, but she even says, like, at the end when she gives them away, she's just like, oh, yeah, I can just paint more. Exactly. It felt like the paintings weren't like, rare or valuable enough to, like, warrant, like, a really, like, tight investment. Which is also part of the problem with the whole theme, because there's, like, a reason they're not like that. I mean, I guess that is kind of the plot and part of Penny's whole concern. So I understand in that way, but I agree with you. It felt like there wasn't like an investment of stakes for me personally in it. See, that's why I was like fantasizing about Wellington swooping in and being like, no one scams a Bassett, mm-hmm. and then just going feral like he did in The Wedding. Uh-huh. So, I'm gonna give it 3.6 out of 5. When Jacques said Penny Bassett, that made me smile. Yeah. It's just one of those little things where I was just like, Penny is married to Wooten. I'm going to give it a 2. I don't really have, like, strong feelings on it, so, yeah. So, if that's all we have to say, then what are we talking about next time, Victoria?
the most exciting part of every episode.
Is when you fail to look up the current or the next episode.
Perkins. So I'm assuming we're getting my boy back. No, that's Ted Humphries. Who is Perkins again?
Bridget. Bridget and Wyatt.
It might not be Bridget.
It might not be. We already talked about this in predictions.
It usually is Bridget. We like Bridget. The Revenge of Bigfoot, which I'm hoping is Rodney's return to the series.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what we're talking about next time. Until then, thank you for joining us on our side of the YouTube. I've been Devin Francis, also known as Dr. Blacker.
And all day I've been eagerly going through the Wellington content, just waiting until the end of the wedding part to review, so I can hear my basically essay fanfic I wrote about Wellington thinking Wooten died because of the fire Hadley set on Wooten's house, and Wellington not realizing at first if Wooten got out or not, and then that being why he was so protective and doing all the stuff and making
and that's
sure
the end of the episode.
And that's the end of the episode.